Okay, so thank y'all for joining me today. Um, I am Sandra Nicole Hill, known on Instagram as That Nick Chick, and I'm happy to see you guys. Hey! Um, so the purpose of this live, if you've been following me, if you're new here, I just introduced myself, and for the past probably 5.5, maybe 6 years, I have been eating just good, healthy, raw food and cleaning up my diet, cleaning up my spirit, cleaning up, just pretty much detoxing my whole lifestyle, my whole body in order to eradicate first acne and then fibroids. So once I finally got the acne under control, because I struggled with acne for over half of my life, so this couple of decades. So once I got that under control, I started to focus on fibroids. And I was diagnosed with fibroids in 2015, October 2015, very big ones. Back then they told me that the biggest one was about 17 centimeters. And every time I went to the doctor and did the ultrasound, they would tell me different things. I would hear, it was always in the big numbers though, always 17, 16, 14. So, somewhere in that area. So I decided to start addressing my diet viciously in an attempt to eradicate fibroids. And if you're following me, then you know that recently I actually had a myomectomy, which is surgery to remove just the fibroids from my womb. And this was 3 weeks ago. So I had a lot of questions about that, which I actually printed out here. So I printed that out. So I'm going to answer the questions that I've been getting about my myomectomy, about my whole journey. And so that's what I'm doing today. And one of the questions that I see here is, are you an alkaline vegan? No, I'm not an alkaline vegan. I did start out trying to transition into veganism. This was back around the time I was diagnosed, probably 2015, 2016-ish. I was really struggling with my diet back then. I was struggling so bad because anyone who is transitioning from a standard American diet to a, raw vegan one, a good, detoxing live diet, knows how hard that is. So I struggled for years to transition into that. And at one point, I was an alkaline vegan. I wouldn't eat any meat. This was for about maybe 2 years. Well, about a year and a half. So from 2018 to like the middle of 2019, I was an alkaline vegan, yes. So I would follow Dr. Sebi, his practices, and his food lists, and that was hard at first. So but it wasn't until I joined this group of women that help you to get your diet under control, eradicate fibroids, and all that good stuff, is when I started finally gaining that discipline in order to get myself right. So I did a 2-week water fast, which kind of broke like my mentality, because that's really what I was struggling with. It was my mentality, being around people who still ate the same way while I was trying so hard to, transition into that lifestyle. So this is just my backstory, you guys. I mean, if you follow me, then I'm sure you've heard all of this, but still, for the sake of those who don't follow me, I'm just giving all this and answering your question at the same time. So yeah, I went on that fast, and that fast broke. Actually, it was when I went on that fast, that's when I finally started breaking out. That's when the acne went away. Yeah, I was alkaline vegan. Hey, y'all. I was alkaline vegan for about a year and a half. But anyway, okay. So now that I did that little backstory, and well, let me just clean it up. So I did all that. That was 2019. 2020 come around. I'm still eating you know, still trying to get myself together, diet. Actually, by then I was good because I broke like my mentality that kept having me eat bad food, and I'd gotten my spirit together. I got my stress levels down, and so all that. And here we are, 2021. I got a myomectomy. So I'm gonna just kind of, these questions are gonna pretty much piece together all of that stuff for you guys. So hope you guys are doing well today. Hope your Tuesday's going wonderful. And with that being said, I'm just gonna get into some of these questions. Hey, and feel free to ask questions in the comments too. So, okay, the first question is, how do you feel? I feel fantastic. And yeah, I feel fantastic. I can't believe how freaking heavy those things are, you know, carrying them inside you for, I mean, I carried it inside me for years, and I didn't realize how heavy they were until they were gone. And one of the questions on here too is if I lost weight. And, you know, speaking of how heavy they were, yeah, I did lose weight. So I weighed myself. Of course, when you go to the doctor's office, they're going to weigh you. And I ain't telling y'all how much I weigh. But so I weighed myself, and probably maybe 2 days after I had surgery, I'd lost 4 pounds after they removed all the fibroids. And then another thing with the weight too is I noticed that once I had the surgery, my appetite changed. I didn't know how my appetite was going to go once I had surgery. I didn't know if I was just going to eat like a pig and gobble up everything in sight. I didn't know if my appetite was just going to like wane off. You know, I had no clue. But it turns out it was the latter. I didn't really want anything bad. All I wanted was like raw fruit. All I still want is that, and I think it's because them demons are gone, and you know, the cravings for the bad foods. I could be wrong, but all I know is ever since I had the surgery, all I want is good, cleansing, healthy food. And the thought of eating, because before surgery, I decided to go out with a bang. So I would just eat whatever I could get my hands on. I would eat pizza. I would eat like turkey burgers. I would eat meat. I would eat anything I wanted. And so now that, you know, I had the surgery, I don't want that stuff. The thought of it makes me kind of ill, actually. So all I want are salads and smoothies and fruit and all that good stuff. So in doing so, I've lost a couple of pounds. So I could weigh myself from the surgery, and I know I lost weight from the surgery because, you know, it was only 2 days in between the time I weighed myself. And then probably like a week and a half later, I weighed myself again, and I knew it was pretty much my lifestyle and my diet playing into point then. So yeah, I lost a couple of pounds. Okay. And let's see. So yeah, how do I feel? Feel great. Glad I did it. I mean, was it scary? Yes, it was very scary. You know, I've actually had a lot of comments on my posts about women who are actually getting ready to have the surgery, and they're all, you know, they all pretty anxious and feeling like I was, probably scared, you know, didn't know what to expect, hoping for the best, praying that the worst wouldn't happen, because we all have been told that when we have a myomectomy, it's a possibility that they can like take your womb. It's a possibility that they can, you know, send you into menopause, because they'll give you a hysterectomy if needed, depending on the shape of your womb. So nobody wants to go through that, you know. So, but it seems like most of the time, and this is just research, because I've researched on YouTube, I've researched different women's stories, and some of the women that I follow, it seems like most of the time they're able to keep the womb. There's no, you know, the womb is not in such bad shape that they'll, you know, give you a hysterectomy and just take the womb for your safety. And I didn't need a blood transfusion, which was awesome, considering you have got to watch my YouTube video, because I have pictures on there about, you know, what it looked like, how it looked, and I just can't believe I didn't need a transfusion based on those pictures, but I didn't. And So anyway, as far as it being scary, you know, it's natural to be scary because you don't know what you, especially if you never had surgery. There are some women who have had surgery maybe 2 or 3 times for fibroids. And for those of you like me who never had surgery, you don't know what you're going into. So yeah, it's going to be scary, but probably like a week or maybe 2 weeks before, I just prayed every day, all day almost. And you know, it's not like I'm on my knees all day, oh God please, it's not like that. Like I'll be at the grocery store and I just say a prayer in my head or something like that. So I would pray every day, and you know, that he would see me through and get me through the surgery. And by the time the day of the surgery came, I was completely at peace. I was completely calm. I was laying in the hospital bed as they were wheeling me off to surgery, like, okay, let's get this over with. You know, I was totally calm because I built myself up, I guess, spiritually. And by the time surgery came, I was just ready. So, yeah, it was a little scary, but that's normal. I just suggest that you just pray before you get ready to go into surgery. And your spirit is going to be so much calmer by the time, you know, it's time for you to have surgery. So, what's this? The surgery, I had it 3 weeks ago. I missed it. Oh, you missed what I was saying. Yeah, I had it 3 weeks ago. So, but I'm healing like a champ. My incision site is healing beautifully according to my doctor. And I'll get to that. So, have I lost weight? How do I feel? Was this your first fibroid surgery? Yes, I said that. This was my first. And I decree my last. And so what she did was, like I said, watch the YouTube video so you can see what she took out of me. And so she removed 15 fibroids. One of them was a monster. And she left like some tiny ones in there. She said that there was some teeny tiny ones. So if you see the video and you see the pictures, you see that they range from monstrous to very, very tiny. The ones that she left in my womb were smaller than the smallest ones that you see. And there weren't many of them, according to her. But she didn't want to risk digging further into me, causing more scar tissue. So she just left those tiny, teeny ones in there. And so she didn't say this, but I'm prayerful that with my lifestyle, with my diet, you know, it'll take care of that. So there's that. What made you decide to go through with it? What was the process like? You know, I have a YouTube video about that as well. I take y'all on that journey. My last 3 YouTube videos answer that question. But since you're here, I'll, you know, walk you through it. So, real quick, I was telling everyone who was here from the jump that I was here, that I was diagnosed in 2015, really big fibroids, multiple fibroids. And so from that point all the way till now, I've been addressing the fibroids, you know, with diet and spirituality and all that good stuff. So it got to a point probably last year where, you know, I was just tired. You know, everybody reached their breaking point. You're just tired. So I would go to get ultrasounds, always getting bad news. Nobody likes to get news like that in an ultrasound. Oh, you know, and I don't mean to scare anyone, but this is my journey. You know, your womb is the size of a 5-month pregnancy. The fibroids are so monstrous and big, and I got tired of people asking me if I was pregnant when I wasn't. I got tired of being unable to conceive a kid because this big monster is in me. You know, I mean, it's just fibroids, they strip you of so much. They rob you of so much. I didn't have any symptoms as far as like heavy bleeding or painful periods. I did when I was first diagnosed. It was awful then. I was bedridden when I first came on my cycle. It was really bad then. That was in 2015. But with my diet, I started to see a lot of changes, like positive changes. So it got to a point before I had them removed, I didn't have any problems. I was asymptomatic. The only thing was, you know, they were just big. And I would have to use the restroom a lot too. So those were some of the symptoms. But Anyway, so back last year, I started to reach my breaking point. I started to, be like, okay, I've done everything I could possibly do with the exception of going raw, which I did go raw, which means I ate nothing cooked, only raw food for, that was at the beginning of this year. And I ate raw for about 4 months. So from January till April, I ate nothing but raw. But I commend the people who, has like that's their lifestyle. But it just I didn't like it. It was cool. I felt great and everything, but I missed cooked food, especially in the wintertime. I don't live somewhere where it's summer all year long. I live in Tennessee, so we get snow occasionally. In the winter, our falls, I go through all the seasons. I don't live in the Bahamas. I don't live in Jamaica. I don't live in Hawaii. I don't live in these places where it's hot all the time. So, I'm just like where I live and I just couldn't commit to that kind of lifestyle long term. So, after doing that, after everything I'd been through, after, having this 2-week water fast. I did two 2-week water fasts. First one was in 2018. Second one was in 2019. I ate great. I followed fibroid food plans. I fasted, prayed. I did everything. But, the fibroids were still there. And I'm pretty sure they were shrinking. I like to think, because I'm not exactly sure if they were shrinking or not. I could only go by what my doctor was telling me and the times I would go. So in 2015, I was told it was 17 centimeters, the biggest one, all the way till now, 2021. The last time I went, I was told the biggest one was like 13 centimeters. I honestly don't think that they really can tell unless they open you up, pull whatever's in there out, and then measure it and see. I honestly don't think they can get an accurate reading with just an ultrasound. And I like I said, I don't want to discourage anyone. This is just based on me and my lifestyle and what happened to me, and based on the information that I got from my doctors. So as my doctors told me, I told you guys. So I just got that information from them. Anyway, so, I did all this, and like at the beginning of this year, I was just, I remember getting out the shower, and I think I was just looking at myself, and like in my spirit, I just felt it really strongly, like it's time to have surgery. And I told my husband, who was actually, he didn't want me to have surgery. He'd had surgery before, so he was worried, He was worried that something might happen. He was worried that surgery wouldn't go. He was just worried. He wanted me to just continue on with the naturalistic path that I was on. But, as the years go by and, you start to see some good changes in everything throughout the years. But still, with everything that I was doing, I just wanted to be further along than I was. And so, I wasn't. So I'd reached my breaking point at that point. So that's what made me decide to go through with it. And one of the questions here too, which ties into that, is, what was it? Well, I guess it is that question. It was, so I went in 2020, December 2020. I went to the doctor. They told me the horrible news that I keep getting every time I go to the doctor, fibroids are huge, blah, blah, blah. So I did all that, went through all that. And at that point, this was in December 2020. I kept having to reschedule. I got a video on it. I kept having to reschedule because of COVID. Some of the staff came down with COVID, all that good stuff. So by the time 2021 came, this was January 2021, I finally did the ultrasound. And at that point, I scheduled the surgery. And, but she, by then COVID was still kind of rampant. So there weren't any hospital beds, because she told me that the type of surgery that I'd have to have, it would require me to stay overnight. They wouldn't release me. I wouldn't just be in and out. They wouldn't release me the next day. So, I see your question. I'll get to it. So what was it? Yeah, so, and by then, January of this year, I couldn't get it immediately, so she scheduled it for like March. But then I was like, well, I haven't tried raw food eating yet. Let me try that. So I pushed it. I don't know if it's push it up or push it back. She scheduled it in March, but I pushed it to October. Pushed it back, pushed it up, pushed it back, I guess, to October. Because I wanted to try raw. I was like, okay, so by January to October, let me eat raw and see how, that's going to affect me. So I did that. Well, I made it to April. So went back. Well, I made it to April. Then I started eating crappy, eating whatever I want. And by the time my next, ultrasound came up, still bad news. Oh, fibroids are huge. And I'm like, okay, let's do this now. I can't wait till October. Let's do this now. What you got? I had to call them, and they had August available. So scheduled it, went through it. Here I am. Do you think they were still growing? Although I don't know. I really don't know. This is just based on, like I said, it was just based on what my doctor told me. Every time I would go, I would get different information. It ranged from to 14 centimeters to 7 centimeters to 8 centimeters. This is the largest one I'm describing. I don't know. Now, the one of the biggest questions that I got is, do you think, actually this is the next question, do you think the holistic approach is beneficial to women, or do you think women should eventually get surgery? And the same thing, was there no improvement on the fibroids with the healthy lifestyle you were living? The natural resources like diet and lifestyle changes can make a difference in fibroids. So, and these are awesome questions. If I was following somebody for a while and, following their story, like you guys have followed my story, I'd be asking those same questions. And the answer to those questions is an astounding yes. Holistic practices makes a phenomenal difference in women with fibroids. And I know whereof I speak because I lived it. It's like I was telling you guys, when I was first diagnosed in 2015, I got married in 2015, May of 2015. My period decided to show up on my wedding day, which sucked, but what can you do? Y'all, I could barely walk down the aisle. I was in so much pain. I didn't know I had fibroids then. This was May of 2015. I was diagnosed in October 2015. But I was in so much pain. And so, I got through the ceremony, and my husband and I, we had our reception the day before. So by the time we did our wedding, we went off, and we were going to just go and have dinner, just the two of us. By the time I got to the restaurant, I couldn't walk. I could barely walk. I sat down at the table. I could barely eat my food because I was in that much pain. My husband, he didn't carry me out the restaurant, but, I had my arm over his shoulder in my wedding dress, and I'm limping out the restaurant because I was in that much pain. This was in 2015. So, I spent my wedding night in the bed, curled up, doubled over with pain. I didn't know I had fibroids. So come October, I just kept noticing my stomach getting bigger and bigger and bigger and harder and harder. And I'm like, I don't think this is a pregnant belly. What is this? And so finally got diagnosed, hence the journey. And so over the years, because my time of the months were a mess. They were so painful. And I was kind of a heavy bleeder. My first 2 days, I would bleed really, really heavily, but then it'll kind of ease off after that. I had acne, and the acne was at its all-time worst back then. I had a whole bunch of feminine issues. There was I might as well put this out there because I'm trying to help women, in this situation, but painful sex, I couldn't make love to my husband without being in so much pain. I couldn't this, I could not do that. If I had to sit, I had to sit real gingerly, this is how I had to sit, because it felt like this stabbing sharp pain would just go up my belly or my uterus or whatever every time I sat down like that. I couldn't do that. I kept having all kinds of feminine issues, yeast infections, bacteria, vaginal. I mean, oh my God, it was just awful. And just some of the things that this is just some of the stuff that some of the problems that fibroids caused me. But, you know, I told you guys that I struggled with cleaning up my diet. So once I cleaned up my diet, it took a while, you know, it took a while. But over the years, with everything that I was doing, struggling or not, everything you're doing is working. Whether you're struggling, you just keep trying, keep going, because I promise it is making a difference. You know, the fibroids, I don't, like I told you guys about the ultrasound, I can't say exactly, you know, like a definite number of the biggest one, like how big it was and how much it shrank, because I kept getting, I wasn't getting consistent information. So, but I can say, like, in my stomach and the way I felt and the symptoms that I was experiencing over the years, eating the way I was, all that stuff went away. All of it. The acne, the painful sex, that went away. No problems. The bacterial vaginal, all of that stuff went away. I started to feel good, feel better. I just think in my case, I can only speak for me, is that, you know, the fibroid, the biggest one, was just so freaking big that it just was going to take time in order to shrink it, and like possibly years. I think the only thing that could have helped that big old thing was just for me to be raw for years before it like eradicated. So, you know, watch the video, you'll see how big it was. Or how big it was. I do think some of them shrank. They had to, because I started to feel better. The stuff that I was experiencing when I was first diagnosed, I wasn't experiencing it anymore. So they had to have shrank. They had to. So yes, absolutely. Diet and you know, naturalistic practices, all that stuff makes a huge difference in women with fibroids, because most of the time women with fibroids are dealing with other stuff too. It's not, most of the time, it's not just fibroids. It's always fibroids and acne, fibroids and high blood pressure, fibroids and PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids and anemia. It's always something else to go with that. And the more, I believe, in my experience from the women I've coached as well, in my experience, with diet and lifestyle changes, it makes a huge difference. And also, I think it prepped me for surgery, because, you know, before I went to have surgery, I was telling people about my, that I was going to have surgery, just people close to me, because people can be so negative. So, but I was telling people, and I was also like looking at YouTube videos of women who decided to have surgery and who did have surgery. And, you know, they're saying, this is my 4th surgery. Oh, I bled like a pig. I had to have a transfusion. And I understand this isn't everyone, you know, but, so I'm like, okay, oh God, I got to prep myself for this. I hope I don't, you know, if I need a transfusion, give it to me, because, you know, it might save my life, but I hope I don't need one. Then the pain, oh, it's just going to be so painful and awful. And don't get me wrong, it was painful, but shoot, after dealing with the fibroids that I had, it was nothing really. I had pain meds. I was off those in 3 days. I stopped taking them because I didn't need them anymore. I believe that, you know, with everything I went through, the raw food and all of this stuff, it really prepped my body for surgery, because my recovery time has been like phenomenal. Even the doctor's like, oh, you're doing so well so quickly. And I'm like, thanks, you know. So if nothing else, if you do decide to consider surgery later on down the line, then everything you're doing, as far as my experience, will prep you for surgery, your recovery time, and all that stuff. So yes, resounding yes, it plays a difference. It makes a huge difference. This your fibroids leak liquid. Almost like, I don't know if it was the fibroids that leaked liquid, but like I would have to pee a lot, run to the back and forth to the bathroom, and sometimes I dealt with incontinence, so I would like drizzle, because I couldn't make it to the bathroom in time. But if you mean like discharge, then yeah, I had problems with discharging earlier on in the time that I was diagnosed. I did have problems with that. And let me see. Any other? It was another question. Do you think they were still growing although you changed your diet? I think I answered that. I don't think they were because, based on my experience and how I felt, they couldn't have been. If they were growing, then the symptoms would have got worse, right? But I got better and better to the point where I was asymptomatic, considering the terrible symptoms that I had when I was first diagnosed. Okay. Back to the question. Did they get them all? I answered that. Most of them. Just a couple of really teeny tiny ones that she left in there because she didn't want to dig into me to get those. They were like very tiny and not a whole lot of them. Which I'm praying that my lifestyle and my diet can just wipe those out. Is your belly still sore or can you see it being more flat? Oh my God. I got my life back. My belly is still sore. Yes. It's like, the incision site is kind of numb. That's numb, but my doctor and my brother-in-law, who's an orthopedic surgeon, so he told me that that area could be numb for a while, like anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Because when they cut into you, they disrupt nerves right down there in your stomach area. Anytime they cut into you, they're disrupting nerves. So that area feels a little weird right now. Like the area where my belly button is to my incision site, like that area in between there, that's my stomach, that's my belly. That area is it's a little painful, even though that's not the area where she cut me. It's hard to describe the sensation. It's like it's painful, but it's because the nerves there are disturbed, which my doctor and my brother-in-law told me that, that should go back to normal, but it might take a while, months. So that's the thing that's really taking a while. It kind of feel like I'm gaining sensation back there. I'm rubbing my belly as I speak. I'm gaining sensation back there because at first it was almost numb. It's like I could feel it, but it was from far away. The sensation was far away. You know how you feel this? You can feel that like immediately. But when I feel it here, I could feel it, but it was like the sensation was far away or something. Like I could sense it, so to speak. I don't know how to describe it. But now, since the sensation has come back, it's a little painful. It's like if you like scrape your skin and it'll be painful. Like if you scrape your skin on a concrete or something, that's how it feels. It's like that kind of painful right there. Nothing you can't handle, but still uncomfortable. So I could only wear like yoga pants or, something, nothing that's going to squeeze my belly. But anyway, as far as the belly being flat, my belly, like when I used to lay on my back, I could see this big lump, this big mountain. When I look at my belly, that's completely gone. I mean, my belly looks the way it should, the way God created it to look now, thank God. So even when I was at the pool, I walked to the pool the other day. Not too far from here. I got to get my exercise in, but not overdo it. Walked to the pool and the ladies walked in. They were like, oh my goodness, you have a great body. And I was just like, thank you. I didn't know how to act because, it's been years since I seen my body look like that. So, yeah, the belly flat and what was it? What'd she say? Yeah, and the belly's still a little sore. Oh, the leaking stopped with the diet change. Yeah, it did. I guess you mean discharge. I'm not sure what kind of leaking you mean because the only thing I can think of is like discharge, from your JJ, she already leaks that's just a natural thing. But as far as like you should know the difference between discharge and regular like vaginal self-cleaning, which it does anyway. But as far as leaking, I did have a whole lot of discharge back in the day, but yeah, with discharge. But yeah, with dietary changes, I had none of those problems. It took a while. So, you know, that stuff takes a while. Natural healing, which is why a lot of people don't stick with it. They think that it's not working, but it take a while. You know, you got to realize it's been years that we spent abusing our bodies, and, you know, it's going to take a while to heal. But, so it took a while, but, especially since I was so inconsistent with my diet too. But once I finally got consistent, I started fasting. Then very watery, like, that. It went away. So, just eat more. Like, I would suggest that you start fasting throughout the day, doing like intermittent fasting, because that's what I did. But I realized a lot of people can't do like a 14-day water fast like I did. I was desperate, y'all. But whatever fast, you know, the Lord put on your heart, and pray too while you're fasting. Pray, get you some healing scriptures and pray them just out loud. They work. I promise you they do. I know whereof I speak. I lived it. And then when you're not fasting, you know, just eat more fruit, eat more raw fruit, eat more veggies, and you will start to see a difference. Stuff like bread, like traditional bread, that makes it worse. Sweets, processed sugar and stuff like that, that makes it worse. You can always, I got on my website, sandrellsnaturalworld.com, I got a food list of stuff that's really, really good for stuff like that. That's what I pretty much ate from, and that's when I saw the differences in my body. But like I said, you know, the fibroids I had were just so huge, it probably would have just took years of me eating raw in order for it to eradicate. That's another question I get, like, do you think that, because people who saw the pictures, you know, they asked me, do you think that, well, I probably already answered this. Do you think that your lifestyle would have shrunk them eventually? And, you know, I really had to think about that, because I don't know, honestly. I think possibly, yes. I know of women who had fibroids and they transitioned into like a raw food diet and it eradicated the fibroids they had. I don't know any personally, but I do know of women. You know, we all follow people on social media. We all, you know, follow along on their journey. So I know of women who have done that. I just wasn't able to accomplish that. So I think it's highly, highly, highly possible that a raw food diet can just eradicate all that stuff. Okay, what else we got? What are the locations of the fibroids? Pedunculated, intramural. You know what? I don't know. But the reason why I don't know is because I'm waiting on my doctor to send me my medical records that'll have all that stuff in it. Like I said, you know, when I went for the ultrasound, that stuff was in there, but shoot, I don't know how accurate it was, you know. Like, I would get pedunculated, then I would go to the doctor again during the ultrasound. They're like, oh, it doesn't look pedunculated. It looks like it. So, you know, I don't know. It looks intramural, which is the fibroids. I mean, if you have fibroids, I'm sure you researched like the locations of the fibroids. So I got pedunculated, intramural, and subserosal were the locations that I kept hearing from my ultrasound technician and my doctor as far as where they're located. So once I get my medical records, then I'll be able to tell you guys that. And another question is, what are fibroids actually made of? Mucus, hardened toxins, muscle mass. According to my doctor, they're made of pure muscle mass. So the exact type of muscle that your uterus is made of is what the fibroid is made of. And I saw this one lady on YouTube. She had this big old mass of fibroids. I think that her doctor did it vaginally, extracted it vaginally. And so the doctor cut it into pieces because it was so big that the doctor couldn't get it out the way that the way I don't know if her doctor was a he or a she. I'm assuming it was a she, that the doctor wanted to get it out. So the doctor kind of, like, imagine this, the fibroid, the doctor, you know, cut this piece off, cut this piece off, cut this piece off. And when I saw, and it was so big, so the doctors would put the chunks, the fibroid chunks, in this bucket, which the girl showed on her video. I can't remember, oh, what was that lady's name? I'm gonna find that video so you guys can see it. But it was just like chunks of fibroid, and by the looks of it, it did look like nothing but pure muscle. It looked, and I read somewhere that it has the like texture or hardness of a golf ball. That's how hard they are, but they're made of muscle, like the same type of muscle that your womb is made of. They're just hard. So she said that, you know, with people that she followed, where this question came from, she said that the people that she followed kept saying that fibroids are made of different things, like muscle mass, hardened toxins, mucus. I don't know. But anyway, so that's what I think, that, or that's what my doctor told me, it's made of muscle. What about the surgical scars? Is it healing okay? No itching or sticking pain sensation? I already answered that. It's healing beautifully according to my doctor. That area, like let's say that this is the surgical scar. It's this area right above the scar, like right here, that's numb. It's numb-ish, much like my navel and my scar, that area where the sensation is just weird. It's like I can feel the sensation from far away. I've never been paralyzed before, but you know, like how they say I can't feel that, I can't feel anything, or you know, I don't know, I would imagine it's something like that. Like I can barely feel it. I can barely register the sensation when I touch it. I can register it, but barely. So according to my doctors, that'll go away in a few months. And then there is still some swelling. And when I lay down flat, my belly's flat. But when I stand up, like, you know, I can tell that there's still some swelling there. There's still some swelling in my womb. Although it's not a lot, but it's still swelling. Which I also been told that that'll go away within the months to come. It takes a while for it to go away. I didn't use castor oil packs because I don't know, maybe I'm just silly, but I didn't know how to use those things. Cause I guess I got turned off by the castor oil packs because it would be so many things as to how to make them. You have to get, the cotton has to be organic and organically sewn from the finest silk pattern, and I don't know, it's like, it was so much that I had to go through. I just thought you would just get some castor oil, put it on a rag, heat it up, and put it on you. But the more I research, I guess research can get you in trouble sometimes, because you get overwhelmed with so much information that you don't know what's what. So I just got turned off from it because I didn't really know how to do it. And I was just like, forget it. Just forget it. But as far as like the pain for fibroids, I have a YouTube video on that too. It's my favorite. I wish I knew how to pin this stuff here, but I tried that in the beginning of the live session. It didn't work. So what I'll do is just post it on my page, all that stuff. Let me see, the fibroids, what I took for fibroids, what I took for pain, the lady's video as far as the fibroids and how it was all chopped up. I'm gonna remember it. So I'll post that for y'all to see if y'all want to see that. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't use the castor oil packs, and I mentioned my YouTube video as far as like the stuff I took for pain, because instead of using castor oil packs in my YouTube video, those were the things I took for pain. And yeah, I'll post that for you guys to see too. Let's see, surgical scar, has the recovery process been? I already answered that. It's been really good. Of course, there's some soreness. Of course, there's some things that I can do, but I know my limits, like picking up anything heavy. Like I'm still trying to get all the watermelon I can while I can before fall hit, and all we see in grocery stores are pumpkins instead of watermelons. So I'm trying to get all the melons I can get, but I can't go to the grocery store and pick it up by myself. I can't lift anything heavy. I can, but I'm not, because I don't want to relapse. So it's really about finding that balance between, getting up, moving around, walking around, testing your limits, but also knowing your limits and not stepping over your limits. Like I said, with heavy lifting, I can lift like a heavy tote or something, but I know that I probably shouldn't right now. So right now I'm just going through that balance and soreness, and yeah, that's how that's going, y'all. What food did you eat and do for the pain? I don't really know if this means like for the pain of fibroids or for the pain of surgery. But when I had surgery, when I was even getting ready to go into surgery, I knew that I didn't want to eat anything bad, like heavy meats and eating stuff that I was eating before I had the surgery, because I wanted my recovery time to be fast. I wanted it to be with no problems. So I go to the grocery store and get all the fruit and vegetables I could get, and been eating on that. And that's thankfully what I actually want to eat. I don't want to eat anything heavy and, bad, like heavy creams and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've been testing myself with cooking, but, cooking require a lot of bending. I got to bend down in order to pick up pots and stuff. I have to reach up because I'm short. I have to reach up high in order to get certain things in order to cook. So I've been, just knowing my limits, having my husband help when he can, but I haven't been cooking really a lot because there's a lot of standing, and I find that I still can't stand for long periods of time. I did my hair a couple of days ago, and silly me, I stood up the entire time because I finger detangled my hair. Man, by the time I was finished, I just collapsed on the bed because it takes forever to detangle my hair. And I just collapsed on the bed. Worst mistake ever, because my back was hurting, my stomach was hurting. I can't stand for long periods of time. So these are my limits. I just take it, day by day. And yeah, just go from there. And I'll keep you guys posted about, all that stuff. And then as far as the surgery, I had a lot of people who asked about the surgery. I hope I answered that question too. But if y'all still had any questions about that, then I have a YouTube video about my whole process. And, if you take care of yourself, even if you hadn't taken care of yourself, I know women who, hadn't eaten the way they should have before surgery, and they're still fine. So, just pray before you go into surgery, and God will take care of you. I will suggest, highly recommend though, after you get out of surgery, that you do take care of yourself better. You do drink more smoothies. And I don't really have a problem with, somebody asked that too, if I have bowel movements right after surgery. The first day after I got out of surgery, I didn't. The first 2 days actually, because that stool softener they give you in the hospital do not work. So, but when I got home 2 days after surgery, that's when I started having bowel movements, because I started eating what I have here, like aloe vera. I'll put that in my smoothies, and I know aloe vera is an awesome constipation reliever. I would have took my little gut reaction, my little detox powder, which is gentle enough to just detox your bowels and get you to go to the bathroom, but I sold out of it. I didn't have any more. So just a tip, go get you some aloe vera if you find that you're constipated after surgery and you don't know what to do, and you want something natural and something you might trust to relieve that constipation. Go get you some aloe vera. I have videos, just look through my YouTube feed and you'll see how I just chop up the aloe vera, scoop out the flesh. Don't put too much in there though. Aloe vera is awesome at relieving constipation, but too much of it can cause diarrhea. So, just chop you a little bit up, put you in a smoothie. Don't taste it. It's not as slimy as it appears once you're scooping the flesh out. Once you, post everything up in your smoothie, you don't even know it's in there. but it's definitely working. Yeah. If y'all have any questions, any more questions, you guys, I'm here to answer. Uh-oh, what am I doing? Okay. Here to answer questions. Just send them on. If you don't have any questions for right now, then, you know, you can always just message me. I always respond to messages. Uh-oh. Sorry, I'm doing something weird here. Okay. I always respond to messages. I answer every question on my little cheat sheet here. So, I'll just hang out for like a second or two. And if you guys think of anything, any other questions, just drop them and I'll answer them. But if not, then I'll stay here for maybe a minute or two. And if not, then I'll just go ahead and end this. And if you guys think of any other questions, you know, just message me. So I guess I'll babble to fill in the silence while I'm sitting here waiting on if you guys have any questions. What else? I think that's about it, y'all. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Surgery is great. Glad I did it. Cannot believe I did it because I was just dead set against it when I was first diagnosed, as a lot of us are, because, you know, we're told that there's a high risk of them coming back, even if you do have surgery. But I do believe that that goes for, you know, people who don't take care of themselves. I have a friend who is like that. You know, I know of women who actually did go through with surgery and the fibroids came back, but they didn't change anything. They didn't eat differently. They didn't, you know, change their stress levels, you know. And I really think that, like, I know spiritually, you know, that plays a huge role in it as well. Watch the YouTube video. Hey. Watch the YouTube video that I have about, like, spirituality and how it plays into healing. And I don't speak on anything that I don't know about. I speak what I lived. Definitely need to work on my stress. Yeah, we all did. And, you know, one of the things that I had to learn was how to delegate, because I had too much on. I would just take on everybody's pain. Oh my God, my family's pain, this person's pain. I'm a very sensitive, empathetic person. But it stressed me out, you know. So I had to, who is texting me? I had to, you know, find a way to just get that off me. And the only person that can help with that is God. That's one thing I tell my friends when they're like, I'm going to turn to cannabis to help with stress levels. That's great, I guess. But as someone who used to be a pothead, who smoked cannabis, who ate it with edibles and stuff, that stuff does nothing, you guys. It does nothing. If anything, it amplified my stress levels. Like, so if, you know, me, I was naturally paranoid without the cannabis, without the weed. But when I smoked it, it amplified it. It made it worse. So the thoughts, the negative thoughts that I would have in my head, this is just me. When I smoked it, it got worse. They were just bouncing all around up there. So it's like I told some friends of mine, just start fasting and praying, like the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of depression off of you. Because that's what I did. I had depression and anxiety for, about 8 years. And it's the worst feeling in the world. I know how it feels. Feel like a constant rain cloud over your head. You know, like somebody having a party, everybody having a party that you're not invited to. It's the worst feeling ever. So stress it really is the silent killer. And once I started fasting and praying, all that stuff went away. All of it. And that wasn't even what I was fasting and praying for. I was fasting and praying for the fibroids. But I started getting deliverance in other areas that I didn't even realize I needed help in. So as I'm focusing on fibroids, fasting and praying against that, anxiety and depression dropped off. Insecurity. I was very insecure. That dropped off. It's like I started becoming me again. The me that, you know, I knew that God created me to be. And I started becoming me again. So all this stuff started falling off. And I didn't even realize it. One day I looked up and I'm like, I'm not depressed anymore. I'm not anxious anymore. When did that happen? And I know when I was fasting and praying, and stuff fell off. As I'm praying for healing, you start to heal in other areas. Again, y'all, I know whereof I speak. I lived it. And I only, you know, share these things with you because I know that my God is your God. You know, he heals. He's here for you. He want to heal you. He want to help you with your stress. Now one area that I did struggle with was a faith walk, because if you have fibroids, oh my God, it's a walk of faith, and it's not easy. It's not easy trusting that God is going to deliver you from it. And you know, deliverance happens differently for people. While some people may get their healing deliverance, especially when it pertains to fibroids, is what I realized. While some people may get it naturally, you know, they address their diet and stress levels and all that, and spirituality, and they get deliverance that way. Other people may, you know, go through surgery and get their deliverance that way. And I didn't realize it, you know, because I was just dead set against surgery. I'm like, I don't want to do that. No, I'm going to heal naturally. I don't even want to hear of surgery. Don't even talk to me about surgery. I was that person. I was that girl. But, yeah, you know, as the years went by and I kept praying and fasting and getting revelation, you know, I finally realized that's how I know it was God. Because I'm like, I had to pray to God, like, am I making the right decision? Am I just taking this in my own hands because I'm tired of waiting on you? If I go through surgery, does it mean I'm not waiting on you? And that I'm like, you know, forget you, Lord. You're taking too long. You know, it was a real struggle. It was not easy to make that decision. But, you know, prayer helps because that's how God speaks to you. I had to pray, Lord, just let me know if I'm doing the right thing. The last thing I want to do is go against your will for my life, because, you know, I know that what you have for me is what's best for me. And whether it's surgery or whether it's natural healing, whatever it is, I don't want to do either one of them, but, you know, just advise me on where to go. It got to a point where I was over healing naturally. I was sick of it. I was sick of, you know, my life revolving around fibroids. I was sick of eating only in terms of fibroids. Like, oh my God, if I eat this, then the fibroids are going to get bigger. That was my life for 6 years, y'all. And I just got tired of it. I'm like, I know God don't want me to live like this. I know that. You know, he never wants you to struggle and live like that and be in a constant state of stress and anxiety. And, you know, food is to be enjoyed, not to be scrutinized over, which is what I did for years. So I need to watch your latest video, girl. You know what? No, I eat meat occasionally. Like yesterday, I had a salad with chicken bits in it. I had chicken salad, but it's like I was telling, you know, the people who were here, I don't want anything bad. Ever since I had surgery, I only want good stuff. I only want like smoothies and fruit and salads, and like I only want raw food. Like I don't even eat a whole lot of cooked food. Like even quinoa and like stuff like that, I don't eat a whole lot of. I just want the raw stuff. As of right now, that's how it is. But yeah, I eat a little bit of meat. But yeah, it's a very hard decision when you decide if you want to have surgery or not. It's not an easy decision at all, especially if you started out like, I'm gonna address it holistically. And you know, when I first felt like, okay, this is it, I want to have surgery, I felt like a failure. I felt like everything that I'd done up until that point, like I was just walking away from it, like I wasn't sticking to my principles, like I wasn't sticking to my goals. I felt like a failure. I mean, I felt so bad. But at the same time, I knew I could not continue to live my life the way I was living it. You know, I was miserable, but I was trying to find happiness in my misery, you know. Like the Bible says, be thankful in all things. Y'all, I tried. I did. I was thankful in all things for years. And, you know, there were times when, of course, I was happy. But my whole life revolved around fibroids, my thoughts, my emotion, everything, you know. It was like I was protecting those things in me. And like I would even walk around like that sometimes. Like when I would wear my clothes, I would just kind of walk around like hiding it from the world. Like and that's why I was like, you know, I got to get rid of those things. And this is just me. You know, I don't know how each of you, if you're here and you're dealing with fibroids, the fibroids that may have invaded your body may not be as big as the ones that invaded my body, or as numerous. So for you guys, diet, especially like, like diet and stuff that like that, that pretty much just wiped out. It can wipe it out. It can wipe out the size of the fibroids. It's really, everyone's journey is just different. Listen to what God tells you to do. That's what I tell people, because, people look at me, and especially if you followed my journey and my story so far, people look at me and they're like, I don't want to discourage anyone. Everyone's journey is different. God is going to tell each of you different things on how to get your healing. Everyone different. Yeah, my body is stronger because of my holistic lifestyle. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, my holistic lifestyle prepared me for surgery because I had no problems. I had no transfusions. I didn't have to have any blood transfusions, which is really crazy considering the monsters that they took out of me. I had no problems, no issues. The recovery time is fabulous. I mean, I stopped taking my pain meds after day 3. I didn't need them anymore. So, everything that you guys are doing, if you are following a holistic lifestyle, it's working. It is working in your favor. I promise you, whether you eradicate the fibroids via diet or not, it is working. It absolutely makes a difference. So, I've been here for a while. Have any questions? I think I answered all my questions. For those of you joining late, I had a list of questions here, but the video will be recorded, so you can see that I answered all those questions. But again, I'm here babbling right now for any latecomers, or if you guys have any questions or comments, then drop them. So that's why I'm still here, hanging out. And yeah, and of course, if I do end the live right now, and you can always message me, of course. So, yeah, that's my journey. What's next? Oh yeah, that was the last. What's next for you? I don't know, because I like, with this whole journey, it's so deeply ingrained in me. It's like second nature now. Like I say, even right now, all I want is good stuff. All I want is raw food, because I spent years training myself, discipline my mind frame. I spent years doing it. So that right there will let you know that a holistic lifestyle is tremendous when it comes to healing. Because even if the fibroids aren't eradicated with a holistic lifestyle, look at the discipline that you gained along the journey. Look at how you're changing your physical, your spiritual. Look at how you change it. There is no way you can't, say that your life isn't better for eating healthier, or for, taking care of yourself. Absolutely. Yes. And even if you do decide to have surgery, you're going to take those principles just like me. I'm going to take that lifestyle and go forward. And, which a lot of women don't do, which is, probably the main reason why the fibroids were because they don't change anything. So with you, developing that discipline and everything, you can't lose. So, you're so welcome. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this. Unless you drop a question, I will answer it. I love hanging out with y'all. I just don't see any other questions. And message me. I always like messages. So thank y'all so much for joining me. And I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.